Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're anything like me, you've probably fallen down the rabbit hole of collecting tarot and oracle decks, or perhaps you're teetering on the cliff's edge. But let's be real, there's only so much time in the day to make sure those decks actually get used. Over the years, I've learned that not every deck needs to come home with me, and I want to be more mindful about the ones I bring into my space. Sometimes I hesitate to repeat things that have been said before, but the truth is, people are always learning new things, and reminders are helpful too. So today, I want to share my best tips and key questions to ask yourself when building an intentional divination tools collection, one that actually works for you instead of just collecting dust. If you're tired of impulse buys and potential regrets, keep watching. I know, it's tempting. You see a gorgeous new deck, your heart skips a beat, and suddenly your finger is hovering over buy now. But unless it's the absolute last day of a Kickstarter campaign, there's no reason to rush. It's easy to get caught up in the hype, but I've realized that taking a few days or even weeks to sit with a decision helps me feel more confident and avoid regrets. Let the excitement settle and ask yourself, am I still thinking about this deck tomorrow? If the answer is yes, great. If not, you just saved yourself some money and shelf space. Loving more than 90% of the art is a big one for me. I don't want to buy a deck just because a few cards speak to me, only to later discover deal breaker cards that completely throw off my connection. If you only love a handful of cards, that's a red flag. Because guess what? You're going to pull those meh cards eventually, and they will disrupt your readings. The last thing you want is to feel disconnected from your own deck. So before committing, take the time to watch a full deck walkthrough online and make sure there are no unexpected deal breaker cards that make you cringe. Every deck has a purpose, right? So before bringing a new one into my collection, I ask myself, what role does this deck play? If I already have a deck that fills the same space, do I really need another? Probably not. Let's be honest, how many dark and moody decks does one person need? Or pastel, cosmic, collage, or whatever the vibe is. If a new deck doesn't bring something unique to the table, chances are it's just going to be neglected in favor of other decks. So I pause and really consider if it's adding value or just repeating what I already have. Let's be real, tarot decks take up real physical space, and if you're like me, your shelves might be already pretty full. Before making a purchase, I wanted to be more conscious about storage. Do I actually have enough room for another deck? If not, am I willing to part with an old one to make space? If I can't find a dedicated spot for it, that's probably a sign I need to reconsider my space first. Being mindful of storage helps keep my collection intentional instead of overwhelming. Quality and size are key factors in my decision making. Not all decks are created equal. Some are beautifully designed but printed on flimsy, frustrating cardstock, while others are stunning but so large they're nearly impossible to shuffle. If a deck is uncomfortable to use, I know I won't reach for it as often, no matter how pretty it is. That's why I try to check reviews for cardstock quality, durability, and size before buying. If it doesn't feel good in your hands, it's important to know that going in whenever possible so that you make an informed decision. Here's a big one. Do I actually vibe with the deck, or is it just cool? Not every deck has to be my soulmate, but there should be some kind of connection. A deck can be beautiful, trendy, or hyped up by the community, but if I don't feel anything when I interact with it, it's just another pretty collector's item sitting on my shelf. It's okay if I don't get along perfectly with every deck, but there should be some pull towards its energy, not just its aesthetics. I love the idea of modifying decks, trimming borders, edging the sides, even rewriting keywords. I'll put my deck modification playlist in the cards. But I've learned an important lesson. If I buy or keep a deck thinking I'll modify it but never actually do, was it really the right deck for me? I want to be honest with myself about whether I'll truly follow through when making a purchase. If I know deep down that I won't take the time to modify it, I can't let that be an excuse to buy the deck in the first place. Alright, that's a wrap on my tips for crafting a more intentional tarot collection. I hope this gave you some things to think about before adding that next deck to your cart. Remember, it's all about quality over quantity and ensuring that your collection truly works for you. Do any of these tips resonate with you, or do you have more ideas on things to consider? I'd love to hear your thoughts and collection goals in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future tarot-related content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!